right, well, we are here with J.D. Greear. He is the pastor of the Summit Church in Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina. And I want to ask him a question about his two partnerships. You are both a member of the SBC and also of Acts 29. Can you tell me kind of how that came to be, and then maybe how younger guys could navigate that same partnership as well?
Well, question of how it came to be is I graduated from a Southern Baptist institution. I didn't grow up Southern Baptist, and I was just very grateful for the kind of education I received, as well as very impressed by how they did international missions. I grew up in a church where every time somebody had to go out to plant churches overseas, it was just blood, sweat, and tears, sometimes for 5 or 6 years trying to raise enough money to get out there. They'd be out there for a year, and then they have to come back and re-raise the money. And the Southern Baptists, by joining money together, were able to put a lot of missionaries in the field, and I was just very impressed by that. Let me answer the second part of your question about how to navigate that as a younger pastor by starting with just a tad bit of theology, and that is that the local church is the locus of ministry in the New Testament. Denominations are not in the Bible, and networks are really not in the Bible in a formal sense. So the local church is how we have to look at the headquarters of ministry. Denominations and networks are tools. They're tools to assist the church in getting a job done. There's good parachurch, there's good parachurch, and there's bad parachurch. Good parachurch tries to take ministry from the local church and do it for, that's what bad parachurch does. Right. Good parachurch assists the local church in doing her ministry. The SBC is parachurch because it's a denomination, and there are certain things that you will find that they do very, very well. And I would encourage you to buy into those and invest in them and be a part of that. For us, one of those big things, it's not the only things, but some of the bigger things are international missions and theological education. We just are very impressed with that, and we are enthusiastically involved. The areas where they are not doing it as well, everything's changing all the time, but that's where we joined up with Acts 29 because they were very effective at helping train and plant domestic churches. And so both of our relationships with Acts 29 and ASBC are functional relationships, which I think really is how the New Testament would guide us to look at these things functionally. It's a tool to help you get the job done. And where the tool works, great. Where it's dull, sharpen it. If the tool is completely obsolete, then throw it away.
That's good. So for a guy that's considering those partnerships, what counsel would you give him to kind of decide, do I want to partner with both or neither, or how do we figure through that?
Well, Acts 29 is developing an international platform, more and more so I see that, but that's a very tricky area out there, and God has really blessed the SBC in particular with a fantastic church planting organization overseas. And I would tell them to investigate. The SBC is not the only ones doing that, but I would tell you to investigate that and look at it. I would say that for domestic church planting, Acts 29 is great. There are some other Southern Baptist agencies that are doing good things there, and just to really follow not only who's good at it, but also look at where some of your relationships lie. Your relationships are king. And sometimes I feel like we end up looking to these networks to plant churches for us when really, churches plant churches. And we use the Acts 29 network to get connected to other churches in our local area who have the same passions we do to do domestic church planting better. And so, follow those relationships. Maybe one last thing is don't listen to, I hate to say this, but don't listen to the idiots who try to create straw men out of both organizations and try to pit them against each other. I've been in Acts 29 long enough to know they got some problems too because they're filled with sinners like you and me.
That's right.
And so you're going to find dysfunction there. You're going to find people who are inconsistent, just like you will in the SBC, and vice versa. I'm one sinner who's been redeemed, joining up with a bunch of other guys, and these are great networks because while networks and denominations are not prescribed in the Bible, cooperation between Christians is prescribed.
That's right.
And these are tools to help us do that.
That's good.